Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. And most importantly, drop us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. All right, boys, here we are. It's Thanksgiving. It's Turkey Day. I know Steve Rutzer just got done with a big Thanksgiving meal. Pretty happy week for Steve Rutzer because Shador Sanders got a win. He's feeling good, and I know Dave's feeling good. Steve, how's your Thanksgiving going, buddy?
Oh, it's good, man. Ate a bunch of turkey, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole. Oh, so good. How about you guys?
Dave, how's your Thanksgiving?
Excellent. My dad and my uncle got together and had some turkey, some of the same stuff that Steve just had. Turkey, mashed potatoes. So had some stuffing as well as with the green beans there. And actually all filled up. Maybe I did save room for some pumpkin pie, though, for dessert, though, guys. Got to save room for that pumpkin pie.
Oh, yeah, that pumpkin pie was good. I had it as well. I had, I got something delivered today, and, I was pretty happy with the results, and I could have went to some places, but this worked. Delivery worked out well. And now, as you can see, the Cowboys and the Chiefs here, and, Cowboys got that lead right now, and who would have thought that Cowboys winning that football game? It looks like KC's about to score, so what a game. But we are going to get right to it, and we will start with our first topic, and that is the Cleveland Browns versus the Las Vegas Raiders. And Shador Sanders made his debut, and he did not disappoint. I think he did a solid, had a solid performance. He kind of worked with what he was given, and he didn't do too much, didn't do too little. Managed the game, got the win, and had a nice touchdown. Had that bomb, had the bomb at the early on, and that was big. And we will start with Mr. Steve Rutzer. Steve, give us your input on this Cleveland Browns Raiders matchup. What was your thoughts on that game?
All right, boys. I think we found our future quarterback in Cleveland. Shador is the winning quarterback, first one since 1999. No other quarterback has won their opening game. This guy's a special talent, guys. The team wants to play around him. You guys know that Myles Garrett made sure he did his business. He had 5 sacks alone for the game. He said he's making us better. He's got the heart of a leader, and I'll go back to battle with them any day. We're ready to win with them. He goes, end of story. So those were comments from Myles Garrett talking about Shador. The guy is a leader, and we already lost one in Baker Mayfield, and we can't make this happen twice, guys. This guy is the answer. He's not the second coming of Peyton Manning, but he is a winner, something Cleveland hasn't seen in decades.
No, Steve, I just have to say I was wondering how far you were going to take this today. I'm glad you stopped short of he's not the second coming of Peyton Manning. It was good to see. It was good to see you showed some slight restraint here. I'm surprised.
Be a little realistic.
Yeah,
I'm being a little bit realistic, but I'm still, cheering him on pretty high.
Okay. Was that the Bad News Bears, the equivalent of the Bad News Bears that they played the Browns? Like I think the parents even, they might even got to play a little bit because little Johnny had to go out. That was a bad team. Go ahead.
Hey, Brent, I'll tell you that defense isn't going to make anybody forget the 85 Bears. I'll tell you that much.
That was, oh, boy, that was rough. I tell you what, I didn't even think that was even real when I watched that game. We were all at the bar, by the way. That was another good time at the bar.
Yes.
We had great seats, didn't we?
Great seats, great food too.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I was shocked how bad that Raiders team was. But the Browns, they just kind of managed the game and they got the W. I can't complain. And Shador didn't go backwards. He looked improved. He did. He looked improved. But go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, so at any rate, it's clear Dylan Gabriel is not the guy, and that seems pretty realistic. I think he could be your backup, though, for the next 10 years. But I do like Shador. I think you got to keep him, even if you consider somebody in next year's draft. Shador's a keeper, man. They want to play for him. The way the team rallied behind him was just pure amazement. I told Jimmy in an email, you better draft Shador or you'll regret it. It's true. Imagine if Dylan was the guy
Jeez.
without the concussion. I mean, who wants to play for him? Not so many. They all want to play for Shador. It's real. We wanted Judkins to run the ball. He didn't get the yards we wanted, but he was fierce and he did his job. They love running the Wildcat, and if that works against teams like Miami and the Raiders, so that Wildcat's working out against these bad teams. I don't know if they can run it against the 49ers next week or some better teams, but it seems to work.
Well, that's really the question, Steve, is, obviously, once Shador sees a better defense, he's going to step up a bit in class this week against the 49ers. I have to say, this is not the same 49ers defense they expected to have at the start of the season. The loss of their two best players, Warner and Boza, Mikael Williams, their number one pick. So they're a bit depleted. But Salah's a very good defensive coordinator. It'd be interesting to see if, what type of blitzes and what type of
what he can scheme.
What he can scheme up to go after Shador. Also be helpful if the Browns did get a little bit more running game. They really didn't run the ball well in this game.
No, this is what I was going to say. Quinshot Judkins had 16 carries for 47 yards, but he did have the 2 touchdowns. He kind of reminded me of when Kareem Hunt. Those are Kareem Hunt numbers, Kareem never got like a ton of yards, but he scored touchdowns and he got us through the trenches when we needed to.
Great for yardage. Yeah.
Yeah. He's your guy, but we pulled it together as a team overall. On the receiving side, there was some good plays, but nothing spectacular. Tommy Reese had them throwing downfield, so that was a good thing. Word on the street is UCLA and a few other teams are interested in Tommy Reese. So in that case, I don't know if he can leave. I see how the contracts work, but if that happened, if he had to go take that UCLA job, Stefanski would go back to play calling. That would be scary. Who would want to see that?
It wasn't great, Steve. It was refreshing to see them finally push the ball down the field. The big thing I think you finally saw is they had a quarterback with the type of arm to do that. Bottom line.
Yeah. And that was noticeable. And Dave, that's what you got to have. You can't have a guy that just throws 10 or 15 yards. It's just not going to work in the NFL.
Yeah. No, totally right. As I've said numerous occasions, and most people know, in college, a lot of it's either really short, or really long. In the NFL, it's a lot more intermediate. And that'll be interesting to see moving forward, just how well Shador Sanders throws the intermediate routes. The 15-yard outs.
Yeah, I want to see that. You're right. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
The deep crossing patterns, the dig routes, stuff like that. How does he throw those pass patterns, and does he throw it accurately? Time will tell on that.
Yeah, and Shador. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
Well, Shador was 11 to 20. He had 209 yards passing with a touchdown and one interception. But the throws he did make were like highlight reels, guys. The long throw to Isaiah Bond was awesome. Not many quarterbacks could make that throw, in my opinion. What do you guys think? That was a tough throw to make.
Yeah,
the one to Bond.
Especially getting outside the pocket like that, Steve. And by the way, it's interesting. The Raiders did not bring a lot of blitzes, or nearly as many as I thought they would. But that in that instance, they did. And for him to be able to get outside the pocket and make that throw was very impressive. As I said, that's one of those dime throws we like to say that's a dime. So
yep. I also enjoyed the Jerry Jeudy throw. I thought it was pretty awesome until he fumbled.
That
and you know what he said, guys?
Yeah.
It was a nice catch. It looked like he was going to go in and score, but he stops. But here's what Jeudy had to say. He said he didn't see the defender behind him, but he's seen 3 defenders across from him. So he thought he was cleared, but I still don't think that's a good excuse. I mean, you got to be aware of your surroundings. You're a number 1 receiver in the NFL. You can't do that. Stefanski admitted, Jerry can't do that. He won't be doing that again. If he's your true number 1, you got to see better than that, guys. No showboating in Cleveland. You can't be a showboat here.
Or anywhere else, Steve. I don't think
really.
Anywhere else, to be honest.
Yeah. Another throw I enjoyed was the pass to Dylan Sampson, like that screen pass, and man, was he off to the races. It was nice seeing Sampson catch that ball and maneuver and get right through them for that long touchdown. I haven't seen a screen route to a wide receiver and take it to the house in a long time, guys. Much smoother than a Dylan Gabriel pass. Sampson did what we thought he would do on that play. Did you guys like it? What do you think on that one, Dylan Sampson?
I thought it was good that they schemed up some of these short throws and screen throws. Like I said before in the preview, Steve, that I thought they'd give him some kind of those easy button throws there. By the way, nice speed there by Sampson on that throw. He looked good on that screen pass.
Yeah, he's fast. I want to get him more involved in this offense. Plays like that.
I still don't know how many carries he can handle as a running back.
Yeah,
I think his. I kind of compared him to. I think he would make somebody a nice James White. Remember how James White used to be in the New England offense? Brady always had that receiving running back, whether it be a Kevin Falk or a James White. To me, that's his future role, I think, in the NFL.
Probably only get 2 or 3 carries, but you want to pass to more.
Yeah, maybe your third back and do some catching. Do some receiving, and that's about it. Change it. What do they call it? A change of pace back. You've heard of that before, stuff like that. But anyway, continue.
All right, guys. Well, the defense was immaculate. We had 10 sacks. I can't believe it. Am I reading this wrong? 10 sacks? Wow. Myles Garrett worked his magic. He had 3 alone. I knew he could play for Shador, and it showed. Malik Collins had 2.5 sacks, and Devin Bush and my boy Isaiah McGuire filling in for Alex Wright had 1 apiece as well. The Raiders even ended up firing their offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, after the game. Not too often do you see the Browns get a win and the other team has to fire one of their staff. So you don't see that very often.
Well, just before this game, I didn't think we'd see very many more pathetic offenses than the Cleveland Browns, and I think we found one on Sunday, Steve.
I think so. But I really do. I feel like they did it for Shador. And you play for who you want to win for, man. Let's get to the Raiders running game. We stopped Ashton Genty, who I thought he'd carry it a little more. He had 17 carries, 50 yards. I knew Geno Smith was going to suck today. I mean,
yeah, you're a big Geno Smith guy there, Steve.
I know, right? But he did throw for 285 yards. I was surprised by that stat.
I think that was a lot of empty calories, as some would say.
Yeah.
I know it's Thanksgiving, but interesting day to use that term, I guess. But that's when the game was kind of out of reach, and they had nothing to do but throw the football to try and get back in it,
and just run that clock out and let us get the win.
Right.
Genty did have 8 catches for 58 yards, and a touchdown, so he was catching balls out of the backfield. Of course, your guy Lockett and Brent Bowers, best tight end in the game, or top 4 probably, were involved and played pretty well as expected on their end. I thought the Browns' pass defense couldn't have played better, but they had to make up there somewhere. Defensively, Max Crosby had a good game, but overall it was Shador's day and the Browns' defense. I called it. I said the Browns won for the first time in Vegas in years. I knew they would do it. Let's bring on the 49ers. We got this, guys. We're going to start a winning streak. Go Browns.
You're optimistic, Steve.
Yes,
I like.
I am.
Yeah,
now that Shador's in there.
Yes.
Stock market's up. Everything's. Got a raise at the job. Everything's going well. Hey, come on, man. I love it. I love it. All right, we're going to get to Mr. Dave Greenshield, and Dave, give us your thoughts on this Browns versus the Raiders matchup in Vegas. What do you think about that game?
Well, the start of the Shador era. It starts with a bang, gentlemen. Shador Sanders, the NFL's starting debut, always figured to be overshadowed anything else the Browns accomplished Sunday. Sanders made the plays the Browns needed, passing for 209 yards and a touchdown to help Cleveland to a 24-10 victory over the Raiders, the 42nd quarterback since the franchise's return in 1999 Sanders replaced fellow rookie Dylan Gabriel, who's in concussion protocol, and ended a 17-game losing streak by Cleveland QBs making their first start. Hey, Steve, quick trivia question. Do you know the last quarterback making his first start to,
Against the Raiders?
No, before Sanders, who was the quarterback that won his first start?
Was that Eric Zier?
Yeah, great call, Steve.
1995 or
yes.
something like that.
Yeah, the year that the Browns moved, they had bet. This was kind of forgotten. Before the move was announced that year, Belichick had benched then starter Vinny Testaverde and replaced him with Eric Zier.
Who won? Yeah, he won his game. Yeah. Then he did play for Baltimore, too, for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's right.
In Baltimore, and really just ended up being a journeyman kind of quarterback. But, out of Georgia, Eric Zier.
That's right.
Little piece of trivia for you guys.
Did you guys know Eric Mangini was part of that coaching staff as well when Zier played? Yep.
Well, there's a lot of
the Browns?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mangini was, he was one of the coaches.
He was under Belichick. Yeah, that's right. He was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, a lot of great coaches on that staff. Kirk Ferentz, some other people. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. When asked by a CBS sideline reporter before the game, Shedeur Sanders, making his first start, what he'd hope to see, he says, "I'm the one they've been looking for," and I quote. So you can see the confidence in this guy. You really must love his confidence. Only time will tell, I have to say, whether that's going to be the truth or not. The first highlight, as Steve pointed out, was late in the first quarter. He escaped a blitz to find Isaiah Bond for a 52-yard pass to the 2-yard line. I was a little surprised the Raiders didn't throw a few more blitz packages his way, as I mentioned earlier to Steve. I thought they'd be a little bit more aggressive in getting after him. But, maybe that play, showed his mobility, showed his ability to get outside the pocket, and definitely showed that arm talent, slinging that 52-yard bomb to Isaiah Bond there. It was interesting. In the fourth quarter, Sanders did dump off a pass to running back Dylan Sampson, who turned it into a 60-yard TD. He would end up finishing 11 for 20 for 209 yards. He did throw a touchdown. He did throw a very bad pick. I don't know what he saw in that interception.
Yeah.
He pretty much threw it right to the defender. Overall, I thought he had a few missed throws down the field. For the most part, he avoided, that thing that we talked about in the preseason. I believe your ex-girlfriend mentioned this, Steve, during the preseason. Why is he running backwards, in evading the pocket and running backwards? We didn't see a lot of that on Sunday, and we talked about that.
No, that was good. We didn't see him do that. That was a good thing.
But guys, we got to keep in mind, not a lot of blitz packages either that would cause them to go backwards. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and not a lot of pressure just overall generated by that front four. They did shut out Crosby on the sack front, so he really didn't generate a pass rush.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he was only sacked once in the game. He did a good job of taking his underneath throws, his check down throws. That's another thing I noticed in the game. It's just going to be interesting to see if he can build on this game, moving forward. One of the things I was looking for in this one is how much help would Shedeur get from his supporting cast? The wide receivers did make some plays. They also had the bonehead mistakes, like the Sanders floated that pass to Jerry Jeudy for a 39-yard gain, but Jeudy then had the ball punched out by the Raiders, and they recovered it for the second turnover of the game. What was he thinking there? Steve, have you surmised what he was doing there? Was he just hot dogging it or what?
Yeah, I think so. What do you think?
I think it was a little bit of hot dogging myself. I don't know why he kind of slowed up there.
And it was like not even close to the end zone. Like, what are you doing?
I hate when players do plays like that. You got to be aware of your surroundings, like I was saying.
Yeah, it was a bonehead play, no doubt about it. The Browns' running game was really held in check in this one, as Steve mentioned. Only 47 yards on 16 carries by Quinshon Judkins. He did have the 2 rushing touchdowns. Let's give a little credit to the much maligned Browns offensive line, only giving up the 1 sack. Again, they did hold Max Crosby, who did have 8 tackles, but no sacks in the game. And didn't seem to get a lot of pressures or a lot of hurries either. It was good to see special teams contribute in this win, by the way. Gage, Larvadan, I'm going to get that right, Larvadan, helped put the Browns in range to score with that first punt return. Larvadan caught the punt and sped down the left side of the field, avoiding Vegas defenders, and before getting tripped up, at the Las Vegas 27-yard line. The tripping penalty actually moved the ball to the 13-yard line. It took just 2 plays to take advantage of the field position, and the Browns ended up in the end zone. Uh, the Browns did, use that wildcat formation by the way, on 2nd and 5 with Judkins taking snaps and going up the middle for powering through the tackles for the touchdown. I guess we're going to call it the wild dog. It's not the wildcat, it's the wild dog, from what I'm hearing, by the way.
The wild dog.
Yeah, there you go. The offense and special teams both made big plays to help this team. And it was, finally nice to see, by the way. We maligned the special teams a little bit, Steve. It was nice to see them make a big play in this one.
Absolutely.
Yep. On the defensive side of the ball, the Browns had a field day. The Cleveland Browns defense pressured and harassed Geno Smith pretty much, it seemed, throughout the game. As Steve mentioned, totaling the 10 sacks on Smith. Their sack total was the second most in a Browns game in the history of the Browns, by the way. 8 different players recorded a sack, by the way. Miles recorded 3 sacks, breaking his own Browns single-season record, by the way, for sacks in a season. Defensive tackle Malik Collins added 2.5 sacks behind Garrett. And linebacker Carson Schlesinger led the Browns with 10 tackles, while Devin Bush and Tyson Campbell were tied with 8. I would add Mason Graham had a really great game, one of his best games since early in the season. I don't know if you noticed, Dave, he only had 5 tackles, but he seemed to be beating a lot of blocks and in the backfield.
Yeah, he does it quietly, Dave. He goes, his good play goes unnoticed, But I mean, I'm glad we got him, and he plugs those holes in, and it's hard to run against him, and he makes the other players look good by doing his part as well.
Yeah, he seemed to do a good job of pushing the pocket against Geno Smith a couple times. I think he even had a knock down a pass, by the way, during the game. By the way, emblematic of his good play in Collins' plays, they held the Raiders to 60 yards on the ground. They only averaged 2.9 yards a carry. By the way, again, we have to throw a Myles Garrett his flowers. Garrett continued his run of greatness here, recording 3 sacks against the Raiders to a total of 13 in his first 4 games, and breaking his own Browns single-season record with 18 total sacks this season. Before the end of the first half, he took down Smith and tied the record he set in 2021, and he tied it in 2022. He added to his game with a strip sack, making his 3rd sack of the day and his 2nd forced fumble of this season. Collins recovered the fumble, giving the Browns the ball back to the offense to further run down the clock and run out the game. By the way, the defensive line just continues to dominate, by the way. Wouldn't you say, Steve, it's easily the best unit on the team?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's one of the better in the whole NFL.
Yeah, I think if we were ranking best defensive lines in pro football, the Browns D-line would probably be right up there. And I felt really confident going into this game that they would put up a strong performance against the struggling Geno Smith, the much maligned Geno Smith, according to Steve Retzer, of course. Well, not only Steve Retzer, I would say everybody else, by the way. I would also add this was a Raiders offensive line that they could take advantage of. It's hard to say the defense was overshadowed, although this is a game that will be known as the Shador game for sure. Just in conclusion here, guys, overall, there was an energy level that Shador brought to this team, and more importantly, to this offense. I don't know. I wanted you guys to comment. Did you guys feel that in this game? Brent, Steve, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, go ahead. What was that again, Dave?
I said I thought he brought an energy level to this team, and more importantly, to this offense. Did you guys notice the same? What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I didn't really. Sorry, when I was watching that game, I wasn't looking at everything. But I heard this after. Somebody said that the offensive line just mysteriously started playing like they were, like one of the best lines in football. Like they said that a lot of people could tell the offensive line just showed up and did their job. And I think that's kind of cool. And I've always said that the quarterback does have a lot to do with the line. It's kind of an intertwined thing. And if we can get better line play and Shador, his energy and people, because he's got the long ball. Shador,
right?
Hey, they got the long ball, and you know what? Let's be honest. When you don't have the long ball, what can the defense do? They can stack the box, and then
and they can sit on those short routes like they started to do with Dylan Gabriel. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm loving it that the offensive line played good for Shador. I feel like they did it for him. I feel like everyone wants him in there, and everyone's playing for him. That includes that offensive line. They did a great job.
Yeah. I like the energy. Guys, it's going to be fun watching these games here on out. I think so, don't you?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It'll be interesting to see what he'll take from this game. He's certainly going to face better teams and obviously better defenses than the Raiders. I mean, just overall, last point on Shador here. My grade I gave him, it was between a B- and a B. I'm leaning B. Brent, what do you think? Steve, what do you think?
I got a B-.
Okay.
And the reason why I give him that grade is just it was almost like an incomplete in a way, because even though he did good, he game managed. He really did. So he didn't give you the full arsenal. That's why I said I give him a B-. But go ahead.
I'm giving him a B, guys.
Okay.
And I think he definitely has room for improvement. And if you just see him improve game by game, then you're going to be happy if you're a Browns fan.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be. I'm going to go with a B. The interception, I got to. He misses some points there, and there was obviously a few missed throws. It's going to be interesting to see if he gets more help from his supporting cast going forward. A more effective run game, fewer fumbles from your receivers would be ideal. They're Jerry Jeudy. He showed some of the strengths in his game. His size, his arm are major upgrades on what we had before. No doubt about it. Can he continue to grow? Well, this Browns fan, is really interested to see if he can. Only time will tell. But at the very least, this gives us something to watch and look forward to as this season continues, guys.
Okay. Steve, go ahead. We're wrapping the segment up. Go ahead and give your Shador, do your thing, man. The hand. Come on, buddy. Give it to us.
I'm doing it right now.
Yes. There we go. Wow.
Everyone's doing it. I've seen it all across Facebook. Everybody's doing it. And their children, too. Parents our age and their children, too.
You know what I heard? I heard instead of giving, you're supposed to give a prayer before Thanksgiving. Steve Retzer told his family, it's Shador time, baby. And he gave that thing, and that was like the prayer. You know what I mean? Is that true, Steve?
Absolutely. And the food was very blessed by doing that.
I'm sure that made the stuffing taste that much better, Steve.
Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, man. I love it. All right, boys, we're going to get to our next segment, and that is the game of the week. And, Steve, are you ever going to catch Dave Greenshield? Because right now he's on the top of the mountain. Is that going to happen?
I'm on the come up.
Well,
I'm on the come up. I've won a few in a row now, getting back to my winning ways like earlier in the season.
Good to see.
To try to catch up to Dave,
I could use a little competition here. You know what I mean? I don't want to just lap the field here.
That's what I said.
This is kind of becoming boring here a little bit, Brent.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
that's what I said in weeks 1 to 3 or 4.
Yeah, So Steve, go ahead and give us your game of the week insight.
All right, boys. I had the Colts at the Chiefs. Man, this game was a thriller. Overtime. It was one of the dramatic games of the season. The Chiefs' incredible heart-stopping 23-20 win. Victory over the Colts. If you picked the Chiefs, you were sweating bullets right up until the final whistle.
By the way, Steve, this is one they had to have.
It was a must-win.
Yes.
It was a must-win by the Chiefs. If the Chiefs didn't win this, I think you're knocked out of the playoffs, or you'd have maybe one more loss, and that'd be about it. This was, it was a must-win. But the sheer win of a championship team found a way to do it. It was a tale of two halves. The Colts dominated early. For the better part of the 3 quarters, this was all Indianapolis. Their defense was flying, pressuring Patrick Mahomes, and even snagging an interception that set up a quick touchdown. The Colts held a commanding 20-9 lead heading into the 4th quarter, and the Chiefs' offense looked completely out of sync, settling for field goals. Harrison Butker had 4 field goals, so the Colts did stop them. So after the long drives stalled in the red zone, but then the Chiefs make the comeback. The Chiefs flipped a switch. This was a vintage, relentless Kansas City rally. They outscored the Colts 14-0 in the 4th quarter and overtime.
Yeah. I think Mahomes really seemed to kind of will this team to victory towards the end of this game. He just found a way to get it done. With the drives that he needed, and at the end, and in the fourth quarter and in the overtime.
Yep. The turning point, Kareem Hunt. That's a familiar name.
Yeah.
His 2-yard touchdown run, and the subsequent Mahomes to Rashee Rice, 2-point conversion closed the gap to 20-17. Hunt had a fantastic day, racking up 104 yards on 30 carries, shouldering a massive load for the offense. Guys, I don't give up on Kareem Hunt. This guy doesn't go away. He gets a year older, but he's still capable of the big game. I'm not saying every game, but don't you guys agree? He can still get a 100-yard rushing game here and there when they need it.
I still think he's a complimentary back. I don't think this was the Kareem Hunt his first 2 or 3 years his first couple years in the league with the Chiefs,
Yes.
I should say. But
he's at the later
really
part of his
yardage. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it would be kind of a two-headed beast with him and Pacheco. I thought Pacheco was kind of going to build on that playoff success a couple of years ago that he had. It never really developed. But Hunt is really getting a lot of the big carries for this team. He's still a great guy in short yardage, and he's a great guy in goal line too, Steve.
Absolutely, yeah. He'll punch it in for a touchdown if he's on that goal line.
Yeah.
The other hero was the Chiefs defense, which is led by defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo.
Yep.
They forced 4 straight 3-and-outs from the Colts offense in the fourth quarter and overtime. In the turning point was, Hunt's 2-yard touchdown. And the other hero for the Chiefs on the fourth quarter and overtime, he completely neutralized an Indy team that came in with the league's top offense of many metrics. They held Jonathan Taylor to just 58 yards rushing, guys.
Well, that was your key, I think, before the game. That was the key for me is, could they contain the running game? Because everything with the Colts really starts with Taylor in that running game. A lot of the success. I mean, Dimes has played fairly well for the most part, although he's hit some rough spots. But, the running game has maintained consistency. And if you take away that run game from this Colts, you're taking away a big part of what they want to do offensively.
Exactly. After Butker nailed a game-tying field goal as time expired in regulation, the Chiefs held firm in overtime. Mahomes then orchestrated a beautiful drive, hitting Xavier Worthy for a crucial 31-yard gain on 3rd and 7. And that set up Butker for the 27-yard game-winning field goal, which gave the Chiefs the 23-20 win. The win was more about grit and clutch defense than offensive fireworks, guys. The Chiefs could have folded, but they were mistake-prone and down 11 points in the fourth, but they showed veteran killer instinct. Mahomes and his late magic, I mean, he always seems to do it when he needs to. He might not play great at the beginning of a game, but he's going to be there for you in the end. He wasn't perfect early. He did have an interception and an uncharacteristically 77.5 passer rating. But when the game was on the line, he was money. He threw for a season high, guys, 352 yards and 132 of Rashee Rice's 141 receiving yards coming in the second half.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I thought Rice would be kind of one of the big components that could unlock this offense. That's what I thought when they got Rice, when they got Xavier Worthy back. I thought that this offense would really get moving. They're going to need to be the big playmakers for Mahomes down the stretch.
Yeah. And the Colts had a coaching collapse. Indianapolis blew this game. They were up 20-9. And then they went conservative in that fourth quarter, relying too heavily on Daniel Jones. And if you're the Chiefs, you got to take out Taylor, and you got to try to let Daniel Jones beat you, and Daniel Jones isn't going to beat you. That's what I would say there. And that ended up happening when they moved out from their running game. They paid the price for those fourth crucial 3-and-outs, guys. So at any rate, if you picked the Chiefs like I did, you got the win. You were validated by their sheer will to survive. This was a W, guys. Go Chiefs. And let's go, man. I need you to make the playoffs. I need you to get to the Super Bowl come February.
No, all right. Well said, Steve. All right. We're going to get to Mr. Dave Greenshield I was with Dave when this game was on. I thought Dave was going to lose. And guess what? All of a sudden, green shield magic.
There
Everything
we go.
changed. Remember that? Everything changed.
He's
Remember
got
that?
magic. He's got that strange magic, like that ELO song, Strange Magic.
Well,
Dave
I actually
Mitchell.
think, you know what I think Dave's got? He's got that divine intervention like Tebow. And
Hey, Brent, did you see me stand on the bar, put up the 6 like MJ? You know, after he won his 6th title against Utah. There you go. I was putting up the 6.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else is watching that, but I did see it.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you noticed, Steve. I meant it just for your eyes only there, buddy.
Hey, pretty soon we're going to start doing this at Browns and Beyond. We're going to have our functions. Say, hey, Steve, can you be more like Dave?
Oh, well, what does that mean, Brent? Happy and handsome? You know,
Yeah. You know, I can't just keep winning like he does.
I get
Just,
it.
you know, all right. Keep going there. All right, Dave, what do we got?
Well, I thought the winning streak was coming to an end here, guys. The Eagles were poised to end it. The Cowboys, by the way, they had other ideas. The Cowboys
did.
were able to rally from a 21 points down against the defending Super Bowl champions. They would beat the Philadelphia Eagles 24-21, actually in a mistake-filled thriller on Sunday. Dak Prescott threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for the tying score, and led the drive to Brandon Aubrey's 42-yard field goal as time expired. Prescott also broke a tie with Tony Romo by leading the Cowboys to their 25th winning drive when either tied or trailing in the fourth quarter or in overtime. The Cowboys kept their very slim playoff hopes alive with a 5-5-1 record. The Eagles are 8-3, still in good shape to be the first to repeat winners of the NFC East since they won 4 in a row from 2001 to 2004 with those Donovan McNabb, Andy Reid teams. But the offense reverted back to form that has been frustrating for them and their fans in the second half. The Eagles offense did a good job, got off to a really good start in this one. They had a 7-play, 50-yard TD drive in the first quarter that would culminate in a 16-yard TD pass to A.J. Brown. The Eagles would follow this up with a 12-play, 76-yard TD drive. This would end with a 7-yard Jalen Hurts TD run. Hurts would finish with a solid 27-39 for 289 yards passing, with a TD throwing and 2 TDs on the ground. The Eagles would extend to a 21-0 lead after Hurts' second TD run, by the way. The ground game continues to struggle for the Eagles, and I think this may be the missing component. Saquon Barkley only had 22 yards on 10 carries. Not a great day for Saquon. The Eagles only averaged 3.5 yards a carry. They were able to get their playmakers the ball on the outside in this one. Probably a reason that, Jalen Hurts was able to have a pretty solid day throwing the ball. A.J. Brown finished with 8 catches for 110 yards, and Devontae Smith contributed with 6 catches for 89 yards. The comeback for the Cowboys started in the second quarter. Dak would end a 6-play, 72-yard TD drive with a 1-yard TD pass to George Pickens in this one, by the way. This would make Dallas would made all the mistakes early, including 2 penalties to keep Philly's second touchdown drive alive. Tyler Garton's false start from the one that led to Dak Prescott's interception in the end zone kept the deficit at 21-0. But after the 1-yard touchdown pass to Pickens, the lead was cut to 21-7 at halftime with Philly in the lead. Dak would have a historic day passing. He passed Tony Romo on the all-time Cowboys passing yardage list. He would now be the all-time leader with 34,378 yards. So a historic day here for Dak, breaking Tony Romo's record. Pardon me.
Wow, that is interesting, Dave.
Yeah.
Tony Romo and Dak Prescott got their mirror images of each other. I could see Dak beating out even more records. Man, they're going to have all these regular season records.
Yeah.
If they both can't win playoff games.
Yeah. I've always asked that to most Dallas Cowboys fans. Is there a major difference between the Tony Romo era and the Dak Prescott era? I don't know if you've ever
big
had
numbers, but
the regular season
pretty similar.
Yeah, what do you think of that, Brent? Do you have an opinion on that one?
Yeah, I actually I like Romo better.
Okay.
But I've always said this about Dallas, and you guys are probably going to disagree. I don't really think those quarterbacks are that bad. I think it comes down to coaching. They haven't got a good coach since Jimmy Johnson. End of story.
So you think that you put more of their lack of playoff success on their coaching rather than the quarterback?
Yeah, they do. And because a good coach, what a good coach is going to make you do? He's going to
Okay.
make you have that confidence.
Okay.
He's going to instill confidence in you. Shador Sanders, he's got like built-in confidence because you know why? It's Deion's son, and
Sure.
Deion expects he ensues the confidence. Same thing with the Cowboys. They just haven't had that good coach. I mean, Jason Garrett, all these puppets, Garrett and
All these
McCarthy.
corporate
Yeah.
puppets, right?
McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, corporate puppets, and I can't handle it. It just my God, I'm done. And
Yeah.
I do think the Cowboys they haven't succeeded because they haven't done well with and Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
He's a lot like Haslam a little bit. He likes to meddle. And you know that, Dave. He likes to meddle.
That's true. That he does have that reputation.
Well, speaking of this game, I mean, this is a nice comparison. The Dallas Cowboys were the Dallas Cowboys. Now the Eagles are their back in the day Cowboys. And the Cowboys are just, I know they got this win, but you see what I'm saying? The Eagles are like the newer or the old school Cowboys that used to win and all that.
Hey, Steve, I hate to break the news to you, buddy, but they're about to upset the Chiefs, just so you know. The Cowboys are about to upset the Chiefs. They're up by 3 with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah,
three minutes to go. So Cowboys, I don't know. I think Dave might be on to something because he saw that magic, didn't you, Dave?
Okay.
Cowboys might be coming back.
There we go. Yeah, and in this one, CeeDee Lamb had a 48-yard grab to set up Evan Spanford's first career touchdown on a 4-yard reception to get Dallas within a score late in the third quarter. Dak would hook up with a 48-yard completion in the fourth quarter to Pickens that would get Dallas in business at the Philly 11-yard line. This would lead to Dak Prescott's tying TD. By the way, he had an 8-yard scramble right across the goal line early in the fourth quarter, by the way. That tied things up in this one. The Eagles had all the miscues late, starting with Saquon Barkley's first fumble of the season. Not a great day for Saquon. No real, didn't get anything going on the ground. And then he also had the fumble as well. So, it's interesting. They were able to tie it up in the fourth. And then the Eagles had the miscues. By the way, Osa Odokuzua gave the Cowboys one more chance by sacking Jalen Hurts on third down with 1:52 remaining. The Cowboys got to run out the clock to set up the game-winning field goal after Prescott's 24-yard completion to Pickens, who had a great day in this one, by the way. 9 catches for 146 yards and a touchdown. By the way, you do need to give the Dallas defense some credit. The retooled Dallas defense did a really good job of containing the run in this one. They forced a couple of turnovers, and they pitched a shutout in the second half on Philly. After the shaky start, again, a great game for Dak, by the way. Dak is, by the way, arguably having one of the best seasons of his career. It's just right up there. 23 of 36, 350 yards, and 2 touchdowns, passing, and 1 touchdown rushing. Again, he broke the tie with Romo, leading the team on a 25th game-winning drive with the score tied or trailing in the fourth quarter overtime. Just an overall historic day for Dak in the win for the Cowboys. In conclusion, this loss will probably not hurt the Eagles' chances of winning the division. They look too well positioned for that. This does bring up the questions about this offense. It's interesting still. I feel that the problem isn't Jalen Hurts. He got the ball to the playmakers. He doesn't throw a lot of picks either. He didn't throw an interception in this one. The team needs to really find its ground game. They do probably miss Lane Johnson, who I believe is a future Hall of Famer at offensive tackle on the O-line. The better Philly offenses we've seen have been balanced. You look at last year, obviously, with Barkley's big year, and then you look at even the 22 team had really good balance and could run the football. When they could run the football in 2023, that really hurt them. And remember, that team died down the stretch and had an early playoff exit, against Tampa Bay that year. So it's going to be interesting to see what path this team takes as the season moves along, by the way, guys. I will have to say, the Cowboys, this team is playing better. We have to give them credit. They've really improved on the defensive side of the ball. The moves they've made have really improved, especially the defensive line. This was a group that was getting gutted earlier in the season. And what can you say about Dak? He's playing at an extremely high level right now. I don't know if he's an MVP candidate. Right now, my leading candidate would be Stafford, but right after Stafford, very few quarterbacks are playing at this high of a level. It'll be interesting to see if this team can keep up the momentum, and will they have enough to make it as a playoff team? Well, it was enough Sunday to help me keep up a winning streak of 6 in a row game of the week picks. I don't know. Have you guys heard, by the way? 6 in a row? What can I say?
I just saw some guy standing on the top of the bar with 6. And at
Okay.
that point I go, well, I'm in rare company here. There's not many people that have 6. And I looked at Steve, I go, can't you be like that? You know, so anyway. Oh, I love it. I love the competition.
There
All
we
right.
go.
Well, guys,
Yeah.
my game of the week, you know how I am. I like the Commanders, and now I'm on to the Rams, right? The
Now you're
Rams
the
are
Rams. There you go.
yeah, and I like the Rams, and I'm sticking to them. So, all right, I had the Rams winning this before it even started. So, and we'll get right into it here. I had it against Tampa Bay here. The Rams vaulted the NFC's best record with a dominant 34-7 victory over the Tampa Bay Bucks, fueled by a scorching first half where the offense and defense both scored. Matthew Stafford threw for 273 yards and 3 touchdowns, and an MVP caliber performance with Devontae Adams catching 2 of these scores, while cornerback Kobe Durant electrified the crowd with a 50-yard rip 6 interception return for a touchdown that quickly put the Rams up 14-0. The Bucks' miserable night saw quarterback Baker Mayfield leave the game at halftime with a left shoulder injury after struggling to find any offensive rhythm, allowing the Rams to cruise to their 6th straight win. Yes!
Wow.
So
right now, is it fair to say, Matthew, because they were debating this about could Myles Garrett be MVP of the league? And I don't think he can, even if he breaks the sack record.
No.
Puts up a ridiculous sack.
Not over Stafford. No.
And it doesn't help that Myles' team isn't having a lot of success either, obviously. But I think Stafford, because Stafford's going to throw 40-some touchdowns, it looks like. And on top of it, if his team has the best record, I think he'd have to hands down be the MVP. Wouldn't you guys say?
Yeah, I mean, the Rams are a team you don't want to play. I'd say they'd have to be number 1 in the whole NFL. That is not a team that you want to face, especially in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And look what city he plays in, L.A.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
they're gonna give it to him. Now, if they go on a skid at the end and Garrett they're gonna give it to Garrett. I think they'll give it to Garrett, if there's a skid.
Brent,
but then
he would
again,
really
Dak,
have to fall apart. He would really have to fall
that's what I'm
apart.
saying.
yeah.
Dak would have to lose. Dak would have to lose too at the end. Yeah, go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
You have to have a winning record to get an MVP. You can't just win a few
That's kind of true.
games.
Yeah.
And, even though Garrett's doing a milestone
That's
that
true.
never be done again, probably. But
you're right.
You got to be
right.
a win, and it's usually a quarterback or a running back. Not too often a defensive guy. I would say.
Yeah,
that.
a losing record team that has a sack record probably isn't enough. Would you agree?
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, and I just think it's a quarterback-driven league. It's a quarterback-driven award.
Yeah.
It's tough enough for a running back, or for that matter, a receiver to ever win this award. It's usually reserved to the quarterback, and especially the quarterback on the team if they have the best record too. That's always going to be real helpful. So,
all right, we're going to get into our final segment, and we will lead with Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, how'd your bold prediction do? Give us some insight on that.
Well, I wish it did as good as my game of the week picks there, Brent, but not quite as good. I thought I had a reasonably good pick. I picked Christian McCaffrey to have 200 total yards in a game. He did do that once earlier in the year. I believe against Atlanta, he went for a little over 200 yards rushing and receiving. 201, I believe, in that Sunday night game earlier in the season. He would finish this with 142 yards combined in both categories against his old team, the Panthers. He did have a rushing TD in the 49ers' 20-9 win. By the way, he is on pace, I have to say this, to have his second career 1,000-yard rushing and 1,000-yard receiving season. By the way, he did that in 2019 when he was on the Carolina Panthers. By the way, guys, if anybody does fantasy football, this guy would be a perfect fantasy football monster. He's like that dual. You know what, Steve, he reminds me of a little bit of like a white Marshall Faulk. Remember how Marshall Faulk used to be in the late 90s,
he's awesome.
early 2000s with those Rams teams?
And my dad had McCaffrey a couple of years ago, and he just tore it up for him too. Yeah. The only thing is he's injury prone. So
yeah, he does.
Stay on the field, then you're getting your money's. You know what I mean? Your money's worth. You're cooking,
he's
yeah.
established himself as back as one of the best backs in the league. We talked about Henry and Barkley last year. I mean, he might be the guy this year. Just overall a nice day by C-Mac, but just not enough to give me a win in that bold P, Brent.
I know. Well said, Dave. We're going to get to...
I know you're shedding a tear, Brent. I know you're shedding a tear that I didn't get a win in the bold P, though. I know you guys both.
Here's the thing. You're being realistic instead of what you used to do, which is, hey, this player got 1 touchdown or something, and he should have. Hey, he took his lunch pail and he took it to work with him. That's my bold prediction. That's what he used to do, right, Dave?
Oh, you're terrible. Oh, jeez.
No comment on Dave's point.
And Retzer and I might say that about Dave when Dave's not around. Hey, Steve, when Dave's not around, we're like, that was pretty impressive. The guy showed up to work. That was his bold prediction, and he gets the win. All right, that's enough.
Oh,
we're going to get to this.
Like these.
Yeah, I know.
Great friends. Friends.
Amazing. I got your best interest. All right. Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, how'd your bold prediction do?
Well, boys, I had Dave's game on my bold prediction, Eagles at Cowboys. My bold prediction was that Saquon Barkley would have over 100 yards rushing and
Not
1
quite.
touchdown. Man, he did nearly the opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles straight up lost to the Cowboys, and Barkley did what he had done all year, not run the ball well. Like Dave said, he only had 10 rushes for 22 yards. It's like, what happened to this guy? He actually had more yards receiving than he did rushing. He did have 7 catches for 52 yards, guys. I'm kind of surprised I picked this. It's just I thought he was due. You know what I mean? Because I told you guys earlier in the season, I think Derrick Henry is going to have a better year than Barkley, and Barkley's not going to have the magic he did last year. And I was definitely right on that. I just had a feeling he would finally get it, but he didn't do it. See, I forgot that the Cowboys got Quinnen Williams from the Jets. They picked up guys.
Their defense has gotten better.
They gotten better,
Yeah.
So,
well, Steve, I would say a couple points. I don't know. It's not Saquon Barkley. I'm wondering if it's the Philly offensive line. Again, I thought the loss of Lane Johnson is a big blow there. But even with Lane Johnson in there, they weren't necessarily running the ball extremely well with Barkley. The one thing I would say, you'd think that the Philly would have committed a little bit more to the run game than just 10 carries for Barkley in this one, by the way.
Yeah, the Eagles' identity last year and this year was like a tale of 2 way different seasons. You know what I mean? They did everything right last year. This year, you don't know what they're going to do. I mean, seriously, before a game starts, you could say to the commentator, are they going to run a lot today or pass a lot today? The answer is flip a coin. I don't know. It's the 25 Eagles. What are they going to do?
Yeah. To get that run game back, that's their best chance to get back to the Super Bowl. They have to find that running game to complement Hurts in the passing game. Because even though Hurts is talented, and I like the Brown-Smith combination at wide receiver, they need balance if they're going to achieve their ultimate goal, I believe.
Yeah. If they had the running game going against Dallas, that would have been a definite win, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But Barkley was short, guys.
Yep. Well said, guys. Let's get into final thoughts. Go start with this, Dave.
Yeah, just overall, guys, I was excited to see, what we saw out of Shedeur. I do think it's an obvious upgrade from what we saw with Dylan Gabriel. There's no doubt about it.
Sure.
Again, arm talent is an overused term, but he clearly showed it in this game, both from an arm strength and an accuracy standpoint. It was good to see him break some of those bad habits that we accused him of having in the past. Can he continue to do that? Can he continue to show growth? This schedule is going to get a little bit tougher. There's still a couple of games that I think that they could win with them. Cincinnati at the end of the year, they get Tennessee, but as I mentioned, I don't think this is the same 49ers defense that we saw earlier in the year when they were healthier. So, I'm really interested to see what he does in his second start. What say you, Steve?
Yeah, guys. I'm excited that my guy Shedeur's finally playing, and I hope he keeps playing. Stefanski better keep him in. I think he's going to improve game by game. But let's say he does lay an egg. I think Stefanski still has to give him the nod Don't go back to Dillon.
Yes.
Let's keep rolling with Shador. The players want to play for him, and it's exciting, and it's must-watch football. Everyone wants to see him. Everybody's talking about him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to improve week by week, guys, and go Shador. I'm ready. I can't wait to see him again, guys.
All right, guys. Yeah, Turkey Day coming to an end. Yeah, I was pretty happy with Shador. I'm looking forward to all these games now because Shador. My biggest thing is I just don't want them to go back to Dylan Gabriel because Dylan is cleared now. So I'm going to be really upset if they go back to Dylan next week. Not the 49er game, but the one after. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I mean, like I said, I just think there's too much of an upgrade with what Shador can give you with his arm, even his accuracy. I think you have to give him a certain sample size of games. Again, I like to see the last 6, 7 games, whatever the case might be here this season.
Sure.
And let's see what we get out of that. And that'll be a decent enough sample size of games, in my view. And then we can take a look back at what he did good, what he did bad.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's enough to say, is he worthy of being the starting quarterback going forward? But the tough part for the Browns is this is not going to be another great quarterback class this upcoming year. So you have to give both of these quarterbacks
you need
enough starts to show some things.
And I thought about it, Dave, that rumor of him getting 4 starts. Remember the rumor? 4?
Yes.
That wouldn't have been enough. Wouldn't have been enough.
No.
And it would have been at the end of the season when teams check out. I don't want that.
Right.
Agreed?
Yeah, this is the time to play right now.
Yeah.
This is the time.
Let's see if he can develop some chemistry with these wide receivers. Again, I have my doubts about this supporting cast. Everybody does.
Sure.
But, I still have to see if he can make all the throws. Can he consistently be accurate? Can he break those bad habits of holding on to the ball too long and breaking from the pocket before he should? Can he do that over the course of the next 6, 7 games? We're going to have to see because the competition will step up from the Raiders. I will say that much.
I have another thought that I have to say before we wrap it up, and that is,
yes.
Can you imagine if Shador Sanders is successful the next 5 games or 6 games?
Yes.
And he will be the only guy out of the 3, because you had Flacco, then you went to Dillon in it. Shador Sanders basically is winning with a bunch of junk. I mean, they don't have a lot of talent. I mean, you had Judkins. We know some of the tight ends, and we get it.
Right.
But you wonder, it's a decimated offense. Don't you agree?
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
I by the way, I think that, over a small sample size, you do get a sense I remember Drake May, did not start the season last year in New England. That was Jacoby Brissett that started the season. But he came in, I believe, what was about midway through last season, Steve, or somewhere along those lines last year, I think May did. I think he got like 8 or 9 starts, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll check that. But, he showed some good things over the course of those starts.
Yeah.
And I thought he would show growth this year, and he showed even more growth than I thought. Michael Penix got the last, I think, 4 starts of last season after Kirk Cousins was done. Now, his season this year hasn't worked out as good as Atlanta would have hoped for. It looks like he's done for the season, by the way. So,
I saw that.
Even if if Shador plays pretty well, we still don't know, even maybe going into next season, on whether he could be the guy going forward. But time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah, I want him to stay in there. All I'm saying is it would be remarkable if he can do well with what he's got. Kind of like what Brady did. Remember with the Kevin Hogan and all that? Remember those years? The wide receivers were kind of, I think, I know it's not Steve's boy, but Steve, see what I'm saying? Wouldn't that be pretty sweet if he could just he'd be the only quarterback out of all 3 to really be able to use what he's got and make it work. That would be a remarkable feat. You know what I mean?
Well, these guys want to play for their quarterback, and that's Shador. You can make a player that's not even playing so good play better when they're confident in their quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's Shador.
Yeah, energy's a big thing, no doubt. All right, boys, this was a good one. Take care.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.